Hello everybody, and welcome back to another card game tutorial video. In this video we're going to be working on troubleshooting one of your programs. So the problem is when we draw a card, we can see that the first card is being drawn so that we know that the player is actually drawing a card. When we draw another card, we can see that this one actually animates, but it has a hard time getting to its proper location. And then if we draw more cards, we see that the player is drawing cards, but those cards are not being animated to the right spot. Another problem is when we try to shuffle this deck, if I press the space bar to shuffle, it crashes the game. So let's find out why this is happening. So in order to troubleshoot this, what I want to do is I want to no longer draw the cards in the player's hand. So we're going to go to the player draw event and remove this draw sprite command. I also no longer want to see the deck being drawn out, so we're going to go to the deck object draw event and get rid of this draw sprite command. Now when we test the game, we can see what's actually happening. So if I select the deck area, we can see that this card object is being created, but it's not being sent to the player's hand. But if I press it again, the second one is, and so on and so forth. Now if I go to my deck object in the left released event where we draw a card, this is where the problem has to be, somewhere when we draw the card. So if you look at this, you can find the issue, but it's very tiny, and it's right here at line 13. If we see hand card, and then in the brackets we put hand count -1, but here it says hand count equals 1. So we're going to change that to minus. So this is all that needs to be changed to fix that issue. But there are a few changes I want to make for consistency. If we go to the card object in the step event, we have this parenthesis here when it should be here. Also, if I go to alarm 0, I want to add this semicolon here. And that should be all we need to do to fix that first problem. So now if I draw a card, we can see that those card objects are actually moving to what is supposed to be their correct place. But we can see that they're jiggling, and that's not correct. So that's actually going to occur in the card object. In the step event, here, if you look through here, what's different between the code we did and the code that's here is at line 6 it says if point direction is greater than 10, what it should be is if point distance is greater than 10, then do all of this code. And for consistency, I'm going to rearrange this because this if statement goes into this because this else statement goes into this if statement, and it didn't look like that the way it was done. So now let's test that. So now if I draw a card, we can see that it stays stationary, and as it does with all of the other cards. But now we have the issue of shuffling. So if I hit the space bar, we can see that it crashes the game. So that's going to occur in the shuffle script. So if we go to shuffle deck, if we go down here, now, this looks almost exactly like the way we did it, but there's one issue, and that's going to be at line 10. Line 10 is supposed to be a for loop that calls on j, and then the next one is a for loop that calls on I. But if we look at line 10, the first variable that we have initialized is I. Then we go into this for loop and create another for loop and reuse I. So it changes, and it can't keep up with this I as it's going through both of these for loops. So we're going to change this I to a j, and that should solve the problem. So now if we test it again, if I draw a card, we see that it draws go 10 in trunks, then TN, hit, and etc. Then if I hit the space bar, the game does not crash. So now let's restart the game. We're going to start by shuffling the deck to see if we start with a different hand. I press the space bar. I draw the first card. Now we start with Vegito, then Broly, then Blue Gogeta. So we have solved all of the issues that the creator of this program has been dealing with. So if you enjoy videos like this and you want to see more of these, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you're following this series and haven't already, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.